Hi, and welcome back to Digging Up the Dead.
And Herbie's Journey into Horror.
I'm Rob.
And I'm Herbie.
Okay, for those of you who've seen the show already, are probably aware that we've been off the air for a couple of months now.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Back in December, we had a few technical issues, which then turned into a holiday. Then, in the new year, we just struggled to get going again.
Anyway, we're back, and hopefully there won't be any more downtime.
We're going to restart things with the review we were making when the technical issues hit.
It seemed a shame to throw all our notes away and do something different. So, for those of you who knew it was coming...
This week we present a personal favourite of mine, Wes Cravens' very underrated The People Under the Stairs.
Okay, The People Under the Stairs. I've seen this Blu-ray on your shelf for a bit, but I don't really have much of a clue what it's about.
Well, like I said, it's a classic Wes Craven movie. Wes Craven, for those of you who don't know, is the man behind Last House on the Left, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and the Scream franchise. But it was the two movies he made between Elm Street and Scream that really captured my interest. The first was 1988's The Serpent and the Rainbow, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point, and the second was today's movie, 1991's The People Under the Stairs.
Okay, I'm definitely interested, if a little bit nervous.
Well, I wouldn't be too nervous. It's not one of the more brutal movies in Craven's back catalogue, but it is one of the more thought-provoking movies. And it's definitely a more interesting house-based movie than the last movie we reviewed, House.
Okay, I still don't really know what I'm getting into. Are the people under the stairs zombies, ghosts, serial killers? Your last comment makes me think it's a haunted house film.
Well, it's actually a hard movie to categorise. It's kind of a home invasion movie, but it's not. It's also kind of a kidnap movie. It sells itself as a bit of a monster movie, but it really isn't. I think the fact it didn't particularly fit into any box is what killed it on release. Also, there's a lot of traditional mainstream movie stereotype norms broken by this movie. And for those reasons, it suffered to get people in the cinema seats. But those people who did get to see it are generally quite positive about it.
Okay, you asked about my curiosity. Let's do it.
Well, we'll be back in a moment with our thoughts, reviews and scores on
Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs.
Okay, so Wes Craven's The People Under the Stairs. Let me give you a bit of insight into what's going on behind those locked doors.
All sorts of rumors about what's going on in that place.
The film introduces us to Fool, played by Brandon Adams. He's a kid with dreams of becoming a doctor to help his family out of the ghetto and pay for a much needed operation for his sick mother. Being from the ghetto, he isn't given much of a chance in life, so he's recruited by Spencer and Leroy to pull the motherload of a job to rob the ghetto's landlord's house, which is rumoured to contain a stash of rare gold coins that could solve all of their problems. It's here that we meet the landlords and their impressive house. The landlords are expertly and menacingly played by Everett McGill and Wendy Roby, who already had an on-screen chemistry from playing husband and wife team Ed and Nadine Hurley in the Twin Peaks TV series. These two show immediately that they are nasty and deliberately unlikable with their treatment of their daughter Alice, played here by AJ Langer. So, while the plot initially revolves around Fool, Spencer and Leroy trying to break into the house,
come on, we going in.
It quickly switches. They're now in a story of survival and escape. It's not just the homeowners that they are trying to escape.
Something's in there.
It's also the house itself. It's full of secret passages, trapdoors, strange creatures lurking in the walls and basement. In order to escape, Fool needs the help of Alice and one of the things in the wall, Roach.
Can't get out. No one ever has.
It's only when Fool starts to use the house and its traps to his advantage that he starts to turn the tables and build us to the eventual, inevitable standoff between Fool, Alice and the couple. Story-wise, that's about all, but its significance to everyday life still resonates to this day, and possibly it's even more relevant. It's really a story about racial differences in society, child abuse and capitalist greed. It clearly digs at evil, rich wealth hoarders, not caring about those whose lives they ruin to get everything for themselves.
Kill him, kill him, kill him. Kill him. Kill him, Vince. Kill him. Kill him!
For these reasons and more, it's a movie that should be more remembered and more talked about than it actually is. But maybe those are the exact reasons it isn't.
Nobody gets out.
Nobody.
Okay, so that was The People Under the Stairs. Herbs, did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it. On an overall enjoyment, I would give it a 6 out of 7. What did you think of it?
Okay, so well, this is a film I've seen a lot, so it wasn't really the trip down memory lane like some of the others. I still love it like I did the first time I saw it. The performance, the scripts, the direction, it's all quite solid. I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 7. Okay, how do you think it felt on a scariness level?
Okay then, the beginning of this film really had me on the edge of my seat. And for the ending with everybody whizzing in and out of cupboards and down the chimney, it was just the right level of excitement and nerve. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 7.
Scariness wise, I don't think it was that bad. It's more of a threat kind of movie rather than a sudden jump scares. I still find myself getting quite worried for Fool and Alice, especially Alice's bathroom scene, which is still quite shocking. And that says a lot about AJ Langer and Wendy Roby's acting. But aside from my concern for the characters, I really didn't get that scared at all. So it's only a 3 out of 7 from me. Okay, with that in mind, how do you think its goriness stood up?
I really can't remember any gore in it besides like a dead dog on a stick. But I haven't really stopped thinking about, so I might actually bump this up to a 5 out of 7.
Okay, so it's not one of the most gory horror movies out there, but compared to the films we've seen so far, there's quite a lot of blood. The moments where they let rip, they didn't hold back, so this is another 4 out of 7 for me. Okay, so the next category is cheese. Now this is one category I can see us renaming soon. For now, we'll keep the name, but we're looking at believability, bad acting, major plot points, cardboard sets and so on. The lower the score, the worse it is.
Wasn't very cheesy. I find it all quite believable, so I will give it a 5 out of 7.
Like I said in the intro, this is a well-crafted movie. The acting and the direction are on point. Brandon Adams, who was only 13 at the time, really carries this movie and he holds it well. Maybe some of the costumes haven't really aged well, but it's a sign more of the times and doesn't really distract. Maybe the biggest plot hole is the house itself. There are so many hidden corridors and tunnels in this house, it should be double the size it is. And the way Daddy destroys them with his shotgun, he should be able to go into them himself. Anyway, that aside, it's a well-made movie. That's a solid 5 out of 7 from me. Next onto our favourite section, special effects.
I like this one. The moulds and the masks, the people under the stairs were quite cool. The house explosions and moving bookcases were also done really well. This is a strong 4 out of 7 for me.
For me, the effects never really jump out of this movie, but the more I think back, there were a lot of them, so they must have blended in very well. Probably the main effects were the practical and are involved in the house itself and its many traps and tunnels. It was kind of like a live action Scooby-Doo at times, but they were all very well done, so it's a 6 out of 7. It only loses a mark because there wasn't really a standout wow, but what there was great. Okay, our final category is rewatchability. Do you think this is a film you're going to come back to?
Soonish, but not desperate. When I do, I still think I'll be just as on edge and enjoy it just as much. I'm definitely going to come back to this one. I'm just not really sure when. So, 5 out of 7.
Well, I think in the introduction, I led with how many times I've seen this already. So, I'm sure I'll be rewatching it again soon. It's a 6 out of 7 for me. Okay, with all that being said, how did it stand up?
My total score is 30 out of 42. How did it do for you?
This one managed to get a 30 out of 42 for me as well, which gives it an overall total of 60 out of 84. Okay, the movie tables are starting to shape up, and this one's going straight to the top, for now.
Okay, so what have we got next week?
Well, I'm not going to say yet, but don't you worry, there's a lot of classic horror films that we haven't even touched on, so we're not going to run out anytime soon.
Okay, well in that case, join us next time for another chapter into Herbie's journey into horror. Bye for now.